Last Pint Productions presents the New Way podcast. The New Way contains adult content, if you catch my drift. And if we find out you've been listening in on us, you might find yourself sleeping with the fishes. That ain't the kind of racket we run, see? This Cosa Nostra don't want no beef with you or your boss, lest we get fingered by some wise guy who's in the wind after they went and ratted us out to the feds. Capiche? You done good, kid. Now enjoy the show and remember, listener discretion is advised.
I'm something of a rarity.
How's that?
I shoot the dead. Dead bodies. That is, I don't kill them.
Come out here, Capone. You want to fight? You want to fight, you and me, right here? That's it. Come on. What's the matter? You afraid to come out from behind your men? You afraid to stand up for yourself?
You want to do it now? You want to go out now?
Come on, you can't son of a bitch.
I would like a boiled egg, and I want it runny.
Everybody wants to be naked and famous. Everybody wants to be just like me. I'm naked.
Will you help teach me about this? What is it? A new way?
Hello and welcome to the New Way podcast. Coming to you from Boynton Beach, Florida. We are the New Way, where we dissect pop culture so you don't have to on your own. We're going to hold your hand and walk you through the next hour of deep dive discussion on pop culture. I'm in studio with Mr. Benjamin Wilson to my left.
Hello.
Mr. Nicholas Santacroce to my dead front center.
Back to back.
Oh, God damn. So, I don't normally feel our show needs a preface or a warning, but I'm gonna have to give you one right now. So, oh man, we have gone off the rails so much faster than I could ever have imagined.
I take full responsibility. I'm sorry.
So yes, we are actually, this is the second podcast we have recorded today. You can tell my voice is pretty hoarse.
You can't see the wild look in my eye, ladies and gentlemen, but it's there.
Well, Nick
if you would like to listen to my voice is silky and sultry.
My voice
and has
sounds
not changed.
good. My mic sounds nice.
This is true. Okay, this is great. We actually did some karaoke because we have Mr. Santacroce back in town with us. So we went out and did a little karaoke last night. Got a little raucous, and we found out something about Nick Santacroce yesterday that I really got to get to the bottom of this.
I don't like where this is going.
Nick let us know about something that he was a virgin to before last night, or so he claims. And Ben Wilson does not feel this claim is accurate or truthful.
What?
But Nick told us he has never had a Big Mac. So last night we got him his first Big Mac in 36 years of being on this earth. Nick, you've eaten at McDonald's many times in your life. How did you
I've eaten at McDonald's. Let's leave it at that.
How have you? But as a kid, not now, and just in general, in your years, you've probably been there 100 times. 200 times, maybe? I don't know how many times we've been in our lifetime.
Well, definitely, however many times they had the Hot Wheels toy
Okay.
in the Happy Meal, I was there for sure.
So how did you avoid the Big Mac for so many years, and why?
I find it fascinating that everyone is like, it takes everyone so aback. Why is it so weird that just one particular menu item you just don't happen to have?
It's a falsehood for first part, but whatever.
There's no falsehood. We had it. When did we have it?
I've
never had it.
I have witnessed you eat.
Where? When?
On tour. I have witnessed you I have watched you eat a Big Mac.
Oh, okay. It's stuck in your memory forever. It was such a memorable moment.
Yep.
Why? Was I like Hasselhoff? Was I shirtless on the ground?
Well, yeah, because you turned into a frog after that. But
stop it! I've never had a Big Mac. I'm telling you. It's just not something I've had any. I'd rather go with I'm a quarter pounder man myself.
It is very jarring to hear of anyone in the continental United States that's not ever had a Big Mac.
I told him it's my favorite ad campaign, the Big Mac Tonight with the Crescent Moon Man singing Bobby Darin.
Yeah, I'm flabbergasted. But
not anymore.
I think I was there. I feel like I saw you eat a Big Mac, but
you think you were there?
Well, I saw it last night, and we videotaped it, and it was a magical moment. But we're a little hoarse because this is not only did we have our crazy night last night, We also recorded a podcast earlier today, and then we did a double feature of 2 movies that we're going to dissect for you on today's podcast. What just happened over there?
Okay. Unplugged.
Ben unplugged his mic.
Can you mute me?
You want to be muted?
Real quick.
Okay. I have lost all control of this podcast.
I'm back.
One of us unplugged their mic somehow, and the other is dying. So it's just going to be me, kids, for the next hour. I think I got it covered. But we did
a lot of heavy breathing all of a sudden.
I was gonna mention that, but there's some breathing. You know what? We can cover that up with something else maybe. But many podcasts ago we did an episode on music scores for movies, and 2 of the scores that came up on our list were for The Untouchables and Road to Perdition. And we want to kind of fill you in on those movies. We're going to talk about organized crimes movies and on a larger scale a little bit toward the end of the podcast, but we really wanted to dive into these 2 movies because they are very connected. First of all, they have amazing, amazing scores. They're 2 very, very well-respected and well-received movies, and they are both about the crime scene in Chicago in the 30s during the times of Al Capone and his right-hand man, Frank Nitti. And they're 2, while there's connectivity between them, they are tonally 2 very, very different films.
Didn't Ben Stiller make a remake about the right-hand man?
You're talking about the Secret Life of Frank Nitti?
The Secret Life of Frank Nitti, right?
Yeah, he did.
Wasn't that good? Was that any good?
It was great. It was great.
I don't think it was good at all.
Okay.
Well, we also, because, we were watching these 2 Chicago films, we decided we're going to do some real Chicago deep dish pizza, which we couldn't find. So we settled for
Detroit's
best. And to sum it up, we did a recording to find out, did we really enjoy that pizza?
Hey, look, the ladies were great and the pizza was great.
Which was better, us or the pizza?
The pizza.
You guys.
The pizza. You guys.
Yeah, that's if you've never seen Stella Comedy, I highly recommend it. I know Casey out there is enjoying that clip, but I had to do a pizza or which was better, the pizza or the movies. The pizza was pretty good, but I think the movies were
comedy for the whole family. This Thanksgiving, show your grandmother some Stella Comedy shorts.
Let me kick this off. Were you guys
7 minutes into the podcast?
Yeah, 7 minutes.
Matt has tried so hard to kick this off.
We
need a little Ben Wilson to kick it off. That's why.
Save me, Ben.
Were you guys fans of crime movies?
That's a good question.
Yes.
I was gonna mention this in this podcast. Truthfully, I was not a big fan of the Godfather films growing up.
I know you weren't
actively just the whole mobster thing, like The Sopranos. I was never super not my thing. I did like The Goodfellas. That was the one holdover. And now, after today, I now have 3 crime films that I can put in the same company as Goodfellas and say that I really liked.
And that was kind of the time Nick had his first Big Mac last night, and the first time seeing either of these movies today for it. And as far as crime movies go, I did not watch the Godfather movies until 2002. I had not seen either of them, and I only say 2 because the third one is really, really, really lives up to being as terrible.
Is it as bad as everyone says it is?
Yes, it is. It may be worse.
What is worse, Spider-Man 3 or The Godfather 3?
Godfather 3. It's mainly because The Godfather 2 really is such a wonderful addition to, the first Godfather is an amazing movie, and The Godfather 2 is a very different.
The Godfather 2 is not The Godfather 2. It's a completely different movie.
Yes.
It's
like Evil Dead.
It's a prequel.
Actually, you know what? I've never.
Is it like that? Really?
An apropos conversation that actually compares things correctly. Actually, Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead.
It's it's the same character, same world, completely different events.
But
unfold.
It's entirely
really
different.
So is Marlon Brando in the second one?
No.
So, well, his
dies in the
character
first
is.
one.
His character is.
Okay.
But so imagine, Nick, if Empire Strikes Back was
Now
half,
you're talking my language, baby.
was half Phantom Menace and half Empire Strikes Back.
Oh.
And that's essentially what The Godfather 2 is. Half of it is a prequel told in Italian.
Is there
with young De Niro playing young Marlon Brando?
Does young Pacino race in a pod race?
No, he doesn't. Well, he does, and he wins. But no, it's.
I knew it was you, Jar Jar.
Yeah, it's a very interesting. It was a really interesting follow up, and the two of them together are really they're good. I didn't obsess over them, but
the whole not to besmirch the great James Gandolfini, but the whole the Italian, you could get yourself some capicola. What do they call it? What's the
gabagool?
Gabagool, super Italian. It bugged me. It wasn't my thing.
I see. The Sopranos is where we disagree. I love The Sopranos.
Maybe it's too close to me.
Three or four seasons, I loved. I mean, you're Italian.
I know, but maybe why I don't.
Your family talks exactly like that, just with the Baltimore stint.
Necessarily
with
true.
Baltimore twins.
It's not necessarily true, but I guess it's just it seems like it could be completely accurate, but it seems like such a character and stereotype. It's like
Have you heard people
sketch.
from New Jersey?
I guess. That's what I'm saying. It could be
I'm
accurate.
I'm listening to you, but I
get
don't
it.
really.
I'm acknowledging it could
everything
be.
You're saying.
It could be exactly accurate, and it's still it just is like nails on a chalkboard for me. It's like nails on a chalkboard.
No, that you're correct that it's nails on chalkboard, but it's just like the Boston accent. There are people 100% that lean hard into those accents. Think about the Baltimore accent. There are people that lean hard into that shit too.
Well, that accent's beautiful.
And then when people hear that and go, no one talks like that.
You have been down to the water enough, hon.
It's like honey running
been down to the water enough, hon.
It's like honey running down a silky sheath.
Ocean.
All right.
Ocean. Yeah.
You're by the way, your ocean.
My ocean.
Your ocean.
It's everyone's ocean. It's everyone's ocean.
Your ocean's West Coast.
Now you went into surfer.
Yeah, you went into California.
You went into full on West Coast.
But Stuart, what are you doing?
Hey.
Take the 405 to the 101 down to Malibu, make a left on the turnpike and PCH.
By the way, that would get you caught up in so much traffic.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do it.
Now, Ben, do you have any? I think Goodfellas. I do agree. Also, I think Goodfellas is the pinnacle of gangster mafia movies, not gangster movies. Because
I like it.
I also think The Departed is a great gangster movie. That's not mafia, but it is a gangster.
Well, this is the thing.
Family.
Why I liked it is it's more about the cocaine, and like the drug running and how it tore the family apart. And I liked Ray Liotta in it, and I liked that he was playing a guy, a father, a family man, a gangster, but it wasn't like leave the cannoli.
He doesn't have a kid. He's a family guy. And
Why get no family? The whole part was like keeping it from his family.
At one point, he's like, "You gotta keep stirring the sauce."
Yeah, well, that was the most. That's true. That was the most like super Italian thing there. But the thing is, with Pesci and everybody, it felt more detached from this super laying it on thick Italian stereotype.
I think Pesci's
that goes right through me.
There. Pesci's totally in that stereotype. How fucking funny am I? Am I clown to you? Like he's completely into it.
It's different when you through the drone, the comedic drone of Joe Pesci. It's different for me.
I mean, fuck that scene has Christopher from Sopranos. Most of the Sopranos is in that movie. That was kind of their tryout for the Sopranos. But
it's like when you watch the BBC shows, there's always like a random Game of Thrones actor in there somewhere.
Now, Ben, do you have any other mafia or organized crime movies that you remember or you think about that are kind of on your radar for us to discuss here before we get into our main events? And you think that accent is overrated? No, that's just a simple no.
Not right now.
I mean, there's some comedy ones.
All dogs go to heaven. Wasn't the main dog sort of like a mobster boss?
Well, I mean, it is a ripe for parody genre. Is the one thing you definitely are hitting on, Nick. That there is a cadence and a feel and a sound to a lot of those over the top mafia movies, which can include even Godfather. And I mean, how over the top is Brando's performance, not over the top's the wrong thing, but it's a very nuanced, and you can hear that cadence and that sound is very on purpose for him in that role. So they get parodied a lot. And I mean, De Niro has turned the entire second half of his career into doing parodies of roles that he was famous for when he was younger. And it's very interesting.
De Niro got to eat, baby. De Niro got to eat.
So I think let's I want to start off on, we'll do it in the order that we did it. So we watched Road to Perdition and
Which was a good choice for the first film.
So the Road to Perdition is much heavier, much more dramatic. And for those of you that don't know the plot of Road to Perdition, it is based on a graphic novel, and it tells the story of basically a crime family run by Paul Newman, the Rooney family.
Was bitten by a radioactive spider.
Yes, this is correct. This is correct. And Rooney has a son who's kind of a fuck up. He's a little bit of a loose cannon. And Rooney's number one guy is Michael Sullivan, played by Tom Hanks. Rooney's played by Paul Newman. Paul Newman's son's played by a very young, first big stateside role, I think, was Road to Perdition.
One of his first.
Daniel Craig.
Yeah, Daniel Craig. And so through a series of events, Tom Hanks' character has to go on the run after I don't want to spoil too much in this, but he's a great loss that happens.
Nick, what do you think of the movie?
I loved Road to Perdition. I loved everything about it. The artistry, the cinematography was amazing. The score by Thomas Newman was unbelievable. You said it was Conrad Hall's last film, right?
Yeah.
What a way to go out, I guess. And then you also, I think Matt said, there's not a single bad performance in the entire film. If you wanted to nitpick, you go through it, and there really isn't anything to get too upset about. And it felt more like art, like a true entertaining film, but like you were watching something that was very elevated, and it was consistent. Really, really, really engaging.
Nice.
Well, and I think it's kind of interesting because we mentioned to Nick kind of maybe like a third of the way through that it was based, or no, you saw it in the credits, based on a graphic novel. And you don't really think of it as a graphic novel adaptation, but once you know, there are very specific shots and framing and scenes that are very much like a panel in a graphic novel that they play out there.
Well, so, anybody who who adapts a graphic novel and respects the source material will have one or two scenes that are clearly an homage to a famous frame.
Matt, what was it you were going to say earlier about Watchmen? Because I know that at one point you were about to make a Watchmen.
You mean on last week's episode
that we recorded 4 hours ago?
No, I mean I think Watchmen's a very different graphic novel adaptation in general. I like it. I expected to not like it, but I
thought you liked calamari.
No, well, here's the thing. And everyone's going to hate me for this. I do not love the Watchmen graphic novel. I've found I like...
You don't like any graphic novels, though. You can't get through them. You can't read them, you told me.
That was one of the ones I tried over and over and over because I'm like, if I can't get through this, how am I going to get through anything on it? I got through Dark Knight Returns.
That's good.
Which I really liked. I liked that one a lot. But Watchmen was...
So he got through Frank Miller.
I'm so surprised at that. That was dense even for me as a...
And see that one, but I mean, something about that's familiar because it's Batman and it's whatever.
Sure.
And there were just parts of Watchmen that felt tangential that I just wasn't quite on board with. And I gave up probably about 3/4 of the way through reading it. So I go to the movie and I had talked to Ben right the first night I met Ben. He was telling me about the Watchmen adaptation, and I've been reading about it a lot on Ain't It Cool and the movie sites because everyone was going crazy about the Watchmen and the casting of this. And it was about to, I think it was opening in like a week when I met Ben for his Oscar party. And so I saw it. I did not see it in the theater. I watched it on video a little bit after that. I'm sorry, DVD or Blu-ray or whatever it was in 2000, whatever.
VHS.
But I think it's got a great opening scene. I like just about everything in it. I think Malin Ackerman's a little bit.
But when you're throwing a bunch of people into superhero costumes, you think, oh yeah, graphic novel adaptation. Clearly,
yeah, clearly. But not Road to Perdition. You don't think of it.
Not a classic feeling, elevated gangster drama.
Yeah, and because it's not stylized gangster at all. It's not like this is a Frank Miller version of. It's not like The Spirit or like even Sin City. It's not noirish. It's just very gritty 30s crime drama. And
There's so many great things. We were talking about the performances. Every major character actor working at some point shows up in it, even if it's for a line. And I made them listen to this line before, but this is still one of my favorite deliveries of a character that has like 4 lines in the entire movie, but kills it on every one.
This is Mr. Rance in the bridal suite, and before you proffer your phony congratulations, there is no Mrs. Rance residing with me, and I'm all the better for it. Now listen carefully, because I am in no mood. I'm going to say this only once. I would like a boiled egg, and I want it running.
I love, and Ben, you mentioned also talking about how exposition is used in that movie with the introduction of Jude Law's character.
So there was a scene where Jude Law is first introduced. Jude Law is the
crime photographer.
He's the executioner.
Assassin.
but so he's jotting down what needs to happen. And
Stop that pigeon.
He's being told to kill Michael and Michael Jr.
He's being very clearly told to kill these people. But so he draws. He puts a 1-2, like that's the name.
No,
and then
the age of the child.
The age of the kid.
The age of the kid. And then when he's like, oh, what should I do with the kid? And then starts drawing a tombstone on the kid.
So YouTube Jude Law phone call Road to Perdition.
Yeah, no, there are a lot of little moments in that movie where you're introduced to a character and you know instantly,
unlike just now.
yes.
Sorry.
No, there are a lot of really good, just expeditious introductions to people where you get maybe 30 seconds or 45 seconds. And you've got everything you know to move forward to the next scene and set in plot motion.
Well, but Ben was saying, you show, you don't tell. And that movie did that the entire way.
And
ever since you said that, I watched for the rest of the movie. And you see it like in spades. The whole movie, it's rather than telling you, it showed you through cinematography, through the acting, through little details. And it's smart. You see something like that and you go, why wouldn't everybody do it like that? Just take a little extra time and hammer it out and figure it out because it's so much better.
Hard.
It's hard. It's skillful. It's hard, but it's still
all of Jude Law's details are hammered out super fast and super easy, and they're all done physically.
Yeah. Jude Law barely speaks in it.
And Matt, talk about what. You compare him to his character in AI just from a physical presence and what that brought to his role.
That's one of my favorite things in movies, and we've talked about it before on the podcast, talking about the Coen brothers writing No Country for Old Men and Burn After Reading at the same time. I love watching actors in roles back to back that they're shooting around the same time, where they are so divergent from each other in the range of what they can do. Yeah. And you watch Jude Law in AI, where he's playing this robot that's obsessed with Fred Astaire and dancing and movement. Gigolo Joe, as he's playing the android, is all smooth. But he's all smooth movements. He does the hat tip.
As a sex bot should be.
He loves like all the old school choreography kind of shit. And then he shows up in Road to Perdition, and he's hunched over, and he's got this like duck walk. You really should turn back if you don't watch this movie. There's spoil things, but he has his last moment.
Do you think anybody's going to get to this? They have not seen either of these movies.
But he dies at the end of the movie. Even the way his body falls when he is shot, his arms are flat at his side, and he does just kind of like a duck flop straight forward. Like,
what is a duck flop?
Like a duck. You know when a duck flops down and they skid on the water?
Ducks are known for flopping?
Yeah, that's how Scrooge McDuck got into his coin pond.
That's a dive. It's a swan dive.
It's a duck flop.
I know he was a duck, but it was a swan dive.
It's a duck flop.
Look
up duck flop. Look up duck flop. I don't know that it's a thing, but I think it is.
The flop.
Look it up. No, I think like he does some things physically in the way he just contorts his body that are so good. And we also should bring up Tom Hanks. I know a lot of people.
Well, one second, can I add one thing to that? Another thing that makes him so scary, I was talking to Ben a second ago, to bring an analogy to comics, of course, the character of Moon Knight, he hunts his prey at night in a bright white suit. Everything is white. You see him coming from a mile away, and that's the way he likes it. Okay, and that is scary in and of itself. Someone's not afraid to be seen and recognized. Jude Law, when he first has first face to face, he walks right into the diner where Tom Hanks is sitting. He chooses a seat directly facing him. He's got long fingernails. He's balding. He's got a distinctive walk. He's got a distinctive gait. Everything about him is memorable in every way, and he doesn't hide from anybody. He shows you who he is, and he's still going to get you. And there's something very scary about that. Very Anton Chigurh.
Yes.
Very stop me. Then, I'm not trying to hide from anybody. This is who I am. You can see me coming a mile away. And even in the first shot where we see him is this giant vertigo shot where he's far away, but this shot is so distinctive and memorable. Once we know who it is, we never forget.
Yeah, that's great, fantastic points on that.
Thank
all
you,
around.
Matt.
Good job.
No, and that way to go, champ.
Yay, I did it.
No, because
I can analyze film.
That diner scene is so important. It's one of my favorite bits with Tom Hanks in the movie. And we haven't really talked about Hanks' performance in it. And I think so. Road to Perdition is interesting in the pantheon of Sam Mendes movies because Sam Mendes comes out of the gate hot. He was doing Broadway, and then he did the Cabaret reboot, which basically the current version of Cabaret for the last 25 years is all due to Sam Mendes' reimagining of the staging of that
Was
show.
Tom Hanks in it?
No, he was not. It's Alan Cumming.
You'd pay good money to see that, wouldn't you?
Alan Cumming as the MC in Cabaret is fucking amazing, and that's all Sam Mendes and him workshopping that since '92.
He wasn't the only one who was coming.
But what's interesting is you watch American Beauty. American Beauty was a fucking smash, for just about everything. I fucking love the movie, and so Mendes gets this next one. He's going to be working with Tom Hanks. He's working with Paul Newman. There's what we talked about on last week's podcast.
What a good follow-up, too, man.
Well, in last week's podcast, we talked about expectation versus reality. People go to this movie, and the two biggest issues, well, actually the one big issue, is that Tom Hanks is too nice to play a cold-blooded gangster killer. And everyone's like, I don't buy Hanks for a second in this movie. Doesn't make any sense. It's fucking Tom Hanks with a mustache and blah, blah. And that movie when I said it got shut out at the Oscars, even from nominations, no Best Picture nomination, no Best Director nomination, no writing nomination, one acting nomination out of the entire fucking movie.
It's nuts.
And it's
By
ridiculous.
the guy who was dying.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. This movie holds up so much more than movies that have gotten a lot more praise from that era, and it's sad. And I think Hanks especially does some amazing work in it, especially for him to have to pull off some of the comedy that he does for that middle section where you have to let up that tension because there's so much brooding in the opening of this movie that it's like, okay, we got to poke a hole in the balloon and let air out. Otherwise, you can't ever come down. Everything's just dour. Again, bringing up dour again for Nick.
Yeah, it's a good word.
Yeah, it is really a masterclass. And there are two scenes I think have to be talked about when talking about Road to Perdition. One Nick started with, which is the diner. And it is again, one of these things where it's not in the dialogue, it's in the visual. And Jude Law comes in, like Nick says, he's staring him down. He's so unnerving.
Well, I imagine the other scene you're going to mention also involves Tom Hanks just sizing someone up. Well, that's part of his role.
Well, that is part of it, but I want to talk about the shot, the shot, which we kind of talked about a little bit in the last cast. But but yeah, the interplay between Hanks and other characters is largely unspoken. It's a lot of eye work, but what's great in the scene in the diner is they add the way they did it. I remember reading something about how they shot it, but there is a sweat drop that happens in the scene, and it's Jude Law and Tom Hanks at separate tables, but facing one another as if they're at the same table. Jude Law has like this bad flirting with the waitress that's just like, it's so fake and false. There's no smile in his eyes.
No chemistry.
Like, yeah. And
I was not convinced he wanted to take her home.
And you see Hanks catch who he is immediately. And it's like a 10-second, okay, shit. I know what's going on, but he's got to play it cool. But he starts to sweat, and there's just a single drop that starts running down his cheek throughout like 3 shots in the scene. And then
the sweat bead heard around the world.
And Jude Law's character's like, boy, that stuff makes you sweat, huh? And like, it's just such a great moment in that scene. But really, the star moment of that movie is a shot set up by Conrad Hall, who we talked about. And it is, it's a shot that looks impossible the first time you watch it. And I still am not.
Unless you've seen a Hitchcock film.
Well, Ben's tried to explain how it was shot exactly. I'm still not entirely sure.
I don't think he'll be able to explain it.
Let us know, but
I don't think he'll be able to explain it today.
It is a single shot that starts above
50 feet of dolly. I heard.
Yeah, it starts.
If I recall correctly,
above Tom Hanks and travels backwards down a hall into a room. It is an amazingly cool shot that also serves a purpose of just like
uneasiness.
Yeah, it is fantastic.
Can we talk about the Newmans?
Yes,
the two unsung heroes of the film.
Yes,
of course, Paulie Newman, and Thomas Newman, the composer. Which not since the Care Bears movie and Rebecca Newman, of course, has there been a better, more telling. You know, it's like when a movie is set in New York.
Yes,
and really, New York becomes a character. You know,
yes,
one of the main characters. The score felt always present, and it got you not only in the mood of the scene, but it led you into the next scene, and it gave you slight little tells about a character, or but you never felt like you were being taken out of the world. But there is an actual theme. I remember we talked about some of the early Marvel movies, and we couldn't even come up with a theme. There is a theme, a distinct theme in Road to Perdition, which. I mean, let's listen to this. It sounds crazy and distracting, but in the moment, it's amazing.
And this is the theme for Jude Law's character, which
there you go.
It feels there's this cacophony,
it
but
sounds
then
like
weird
6 Feet Under.
Yes.
Bum 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 bum.
That's very, very, very close.
Maybe he asked for Alan Ball's input.
Yeah, it's not unheard of. Well, I mean, Ball wrote
American Beauty, baby. You know it.
This
Florida State alum. There's one thing that this did better than the next movie you're going to talk about.
Yes.
It doesn't feel it feels in the time. It feels in the 30s, and yet it has that modern twist to it. You could probably play that in 10 more years, and it would feel just as natural. But
absolutely.
With the oboes, you get sort of that speakeasy prohibition-y vibe. So it's very, very thoughtful.
Well, and I think and that's a good transition over to the second movie of our double feature, which is The Untouchables. It's another movie that is very score heavy. And you're right, Nick. It is really sad that a lot of our blockbusters in the last 10 years don't have. We get close with the Avengers. The Avengers is the closest we get, and Cap's theme is pretty good.
Give that full credit. That's come around.
I mean, especially with the big moments where they use it.
Come on.
When Cap and the Avengers has everyone back, and he does the Avengers Assemble, and we go into the theme. Yes, it's fucking great.
It took a while to grow on us, but give the Avengers theme full credit. But overall, the days of the John Williams Superman and Indiana Jones, those themes are all but kind of dead. You're not going to get something that over the top anymore every day, at least. But you at least, even if you can't hum it. Even if you can't recall it in the shower, hours later, you recognize it as it creeps in throughout the film.
Yes.
And there's the theme, Untouchables had that. It just feels very 80s. It does not feel like you're in the 30s. Well, it feels like someone's on a synthesizer.
Well, and Untouchables is funny because it's really, there are like 4 major themes in it. There's the Elliot Ness home theme, which is my least favorite. Yeah. There's a saxophone. I didn't even download it. It's just, I can't deal with that theme.
Is that a new sound effect that you got there on the soundboard?
Yes.
I don't understand what it had to do with what we're talking about. But that's good.
It's interesting. I might hit that one again.
Okay, well, if I like it, it's kind of just random.
It's gonna plow through.
Right. That's kind of funny. Okay, I see. It's kind of anti-humor. I like it.
Yeah, I think,
feel free to do that randomly.
I think Ben just had to run out of the room, and we'll see if he comes back in here. But The Untouchables. I mean, the main theme is pretty phenomenal, and this is and it is definitely a good set for the tone of the movie. This is really what the movie is kind of like.
The best part is you didn't have to reload this theme on your soundboard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it is. So The Untouchables is a so the one thing we didn't really mention for Road to Perdition, kind of why we watch these back to back, is Road to Perdition actually ties in with Al Capone's right hand man.
You got to have that oboe
Frank
when you're
Nitti.
doing a prohibition movie, man.
Yes, 100% correct. And
or as we say in Baltimore, oboe.
Frank Nitti is played
Get
by
that woodwind.
is played by Stanley Tucci in Road to Perdition, and Al Capone is not seen, but his presence is felt in Road to Perdition. And then if you want to not feel but see Capone,
you want to see Capone,
you go to The Untouchables, because it is a very,
and what we believe is the birth of De Niro face.
Yeah.
that like you've just tasted a lemon and you got your head kind of cocked back.
Robert De Niro gained 50 pounds to play that role by eating all of the scenery in that movie and 7 others that were shooting that year. It is
bravo.
It is a I can't call it his best role.
You just remember. Okay, I'm sorry. I want to go back to Road Perdition for one quick thing. When you said chewing scenery, I feel like Sam Mendes is an incredible director, and it's evident in every frame. However, when you have a cast like that, I feel like at a certain point you kind of just let Tom Hanks do his thing. You know, you let them act when they have a line, and you don't have to give them that much guidance because they understand the story. However, where the directing was really good, those guys can chew scenery with their eyes closed, while they're asleep. But what I noticed throughout, so much of the directing is in the secondary actors reacting, the reaction shots. The editor had so much to work with because even when you didn't have a line in Road to Perdition, they were reacting to things or sizing a character up, and they could always cut away to something and elevate a scene because they were Sam was clearly directing people who didn't even have a line for a scene. Whereas with The Untouchables, it is really whoever has a line is front and center, and they are laying it on.
It's kind of like, so sometimes you might listen to a podcast where everyone's kind of like waiting their turn and being reserved. And it's all about the little moments and the zingers. So you have a podcast like ours where we really just want to yell over one another. We are The Untouchables. It is. You're completely correct, Nick.
You're the accountant, and I am Kevin Costner.
The Untouchables is literally who can yell the loudest in the next scene louder than the other guy before him. And it works. It totally works. And
I like baseball.
Well, so I want to. This is a deep cut. And I will say this is definitely fan service for Casey and Rick and some of the guys from high school that might be listening to our show. But I don't know if you guys know this out there listening. I didn't know until probably about 10 years ago, and I hadn't seen The Untouchables in a long time. But there is a 90s comedy album by Adam Sandler where he does a sketch on there called Respect. And I did not know Respect is based on a moment.
Aretha Franklin. Oh, get that drop.
Oh, wow.
It's such a funny. I don't know why you chose to use that sound effect. It doesn't seem connected to this.
Almost just attacked by a.
It's funny, but I don't understand the connection. But I'll trust your choices.
I was trying to play the Adam Sandler thing. I hit the wrong button, I think. But
clear enough.
But Adam Sandler did a sketch about Respect that is based on Al Capone's scene, Robert De Niro's scene as Al Capone, which I'll play for you just a moment of it here.
A team. Teamwork. Looks, throws, catches, hustles, part of one big team. Bats himself to live long day. Babe Ruth, Ty Cobb, and so on.
And it's literally this big moment in the movie for De Niro where he's going around this thing, and they do Respect. I had no idea, but it's exactly what they were aping with this sketch by Sandler.
The longest
Hey,
cake.
everybody. Nicky had his first day of school today.
Nicky, that's great. Remember that age when it was
how you doing, Nicky?
Okay, Grandpa.
Shows me nice. Respect his grandpa.
Respect.
we literally quote that constantly at high school, and I had no idea that is from it's an entire sketch based on one scene out of The Untouchables.
That's funny.
That's so over the top, but
Untouchables is great. So the cast of it is pretty phenomenal. You've got Kevin Costner in his prime, De Niro in his.
He looked like he weighed 72 pounds sopping wet.
He was a young man, and you've got Sean Connery playing an Irishman that sounds like Sean Connery as normal.
So not so Irish.
And you've got I think the unsung hero of The Untouchables is Andy Garcia. And he plays so well off of Connery, which is no small feat.
Connery has to have someone to call an Italian slur, so it might as well be Andy.
We have played this clip before, but I have to play it again because it's so good. But this is the introduction of Andy Garcia's character in The Untouchables.
Why do you want to join a force?
Protect the property and citizenry of the city.
Please don't waste my time with that bullshit. Where are you from, Stone?
From the south side.
Stone. George Stone. That's your name? What's your real name?
That is my real name.
Nah. What was it before you changed it?
Giuseppe Petri.
Jeez, I knew it. That's all you need, one thieving wop on the team.
What's that you say?
I said that you're a lying member of a no-good race.
Andy cocks a gun, aims it at his throat.
It's much better than you stinking Irish pig.
Oh, I like him.
Yeah, I like him too.
You're on the team.
And it's funny because that is the polar opposite of what you're talking about Road to
It's so funny at the most inopportune moment you press that button.
Just can't control myself sometimes.
It's funny drop. I don't understand the connection. All right, I'll trust your process.
I think I'm sorry, Nick. I'm not on my game tonight, and it's going to keep happening.
It's a little weird, but whatever.
Don't worry, we'll be a short one tonight if it ever happens. But might just be for us. But yeah, I think it's interesting to watch how
I still get to sing Les Mis, right?
Yes, you do.
Okay, good.
It's very interesting to see how these movies handle exposition and introductions, and this is not show don't tell. This is tell show
tell.
It's David Mamet writing, which makes sense. But it's yes, we are introduced to this character very expeditiously, like we have in Road to Perdition, but there's no nuance to that moment. It's great.
So where Road to Perdition is show don't tell, the Untouchables says show some more.
Tell them what's going on.
Show some more.
Yeah, it is so heavy-handed, but I really
fun.
do
It's
love
fun.
It. Yes,
it's super fun. It's super campy and cheesy, and the music is good, but dated, and the cinematography also is good, but dated. Lots of pans, lots of zooms, still good, but absolutely when that movie was shot.
Yes.
I don't think that in 20 years, someone who's never seen Road to Perdition or has heard of it or is a film buff will be able to pinpoint that year.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think the only thing is that there's so little CGI in the city sets. There's some. They did do a little bit of it, but it's so understated. That's the only thing that would date it is people being like, why do those buildings look so real? Like, they're real. Those are actually there. I'm like, that looks ridiculous. Nick did also notice something about the score in Road to Perdition, and I'm not.
No. Untouchables.
I'm sorry, in Untouchables. I want to let him run with this. But there is what I consider the hero theme in the Untouchables, which to me sounds like a superhero theme. Of all the themes in the movie.
Somewhere else, I think.
And I'm going to let, I think it's called Untouchable Les Miserables. So we're going to play. So I'm going to let Nick run with this one, guys.
So Elliot Ness has just stolen a loaf of bread for his family. I dreamed a dream in times gone by, and hope was high and life worth living. Here it comes, ready? I dreamed that love would never die. I dreamed that God would be forgiving. You can cut it. You can cut it.
Oh, no, I'm not going to cut it. We're still got more musical to go.
But then the tigers come at night. It's very Les Mis, right? It's like
it's pretty Les Mis.
Victor Hugo's like, wait a minute. There's a drop.
Victor Hugo.
Well, I imagine he looked down on his work, later on. How was my work adapted? And he probably was a fan.
Look at Victor Hugo's only interested in the musical adaptation of his work. Just like, fuck it. How dare you besmirch the music written about my words?
Like, you know what? This is bullshit. I'm going to go check it and see how the Cathedral of Notre Dame is doing.
No,
is that too soon? Too soon?
That was
It's fucked up. It's totally fucked up. What happened in that cathedral? It's all in good fun.
Well, and I think this is something, like we said, we have a couple short podcasts here, but we want to do more of these where we kind of examine back-to-back movies. And this sort of sprouted a little bit from my brother and I occasionally do this, where we'll try to watch two movies that have some sort of either thematic, some sort of connective tissue.
What was the one really good one? It was Inner Space.
It's Inner Space and Ant-Man, which was an awesome double feature.
That's great.
And I think it's also good to pair something older and something newer.
The Thinking Man's pairing.
Thinking Man's pairing.
Ant-Man and Inner Space, baby.
So if you guys have any suggestions.
Ant-Man did have a alarming lack of Martin Short, to be fair. So you rectified that right quick.
Everything has an alarming lack of Martin Short. Everything could be better with more Martin Short. I will argue that.
But yeah, back to what you're saying. If you at home have
if you guys listening have some double feature recommendations for us, we are more than interested in watching those, because it is fun to kind of occasionally. Normally, when we do a podcast, we're trying to cover multiple things and get through a lot of topics, but it's nice to kind of just sit down and focus on a couple of things for an episode, especially movies that we really, really like these two. And it was really great to have Nick here to watch them for the first time and get his opinion on, get new eyes on something, which I think is really great.
Every 5 minutes in The Untouchables, I felt Ben's eyes on me, and I would look over and he would just be like smiling and nodding like Jack Nicholson in Anger Management, that gif. I think he was enjoying watching me enjoy it for the first time more than reviewing the movie.
I second that too. I like seeing somebody's reaction to something that I think, like, we were pretty sure these were two mostly slam dunks. Maybe Road to Perdition a little bit more than Untouchables, because as you did say, it is dated. Anything you watch from the 80s, by the way, for the first time as an adult is dated. There really are very few movies that 100% hold up. And you're like, okay, this doesn't feel like it's like dated for some reason or another.
We should do a science fiction double feature in character as a Rocky Horror character. Meta.
Well, I will be Meatloaf.
Of course.
Even though that's not the name of his character, but I only know him as Meatloaf. So
I call Meatloaf.
I got dibs on Meatloaf.
All right, we're going to the theater at midnight. Bring your rice. I call Meatloaf.
Do you want to be Janet? If you could be anyone in Rocky Horror, who would you play? It's a good question.
Well, I just want to be loved, so damn it. I choose Janet.
Damn it, Janet. Okay.
Well, no, I don't know. I mean, it would have to have a garter belt, so whoever... There's many characters to choose from.
I mean, you wouldn't want to be Rocky and just get all greased up, or do we have to give that to Paul?
Exactly. I would never take that away from him. Maybe the butler dude with the bald. That'd be fun. You put on the bald hat with the crazy blonde monk.
Yes.
Monk hair. What is that? What's that guy called? Was he Igor? No.
Riff Raff.
Riff Raff. That would be a good mashup if you're the rapper Riff Raff from Miami and you mash it up with the Riff Raff from
Can we also,
like with a grill?
Can we also mash it up with Riff Raff? Can we mash it up with Riff Raff from the Heathcliff cartoon?
Oh, that's a triple mashup.
There was definitely a Riff Raff in that one too.
It's Riff Raff the cat.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Not being featured in the new live action Cats musical, which
that was back. Oh man, can I pitch my?
Yes.
All right.
So
look,
we apologize for our tangents on this episode, but we got
now you're gonna have to make a new cover art, Matt.
I got like 10 minutes to fill here, so we're gonna try to do this.
In a rare instance, Matt is letting me off the leash to talk about Cats again.
So there is a live action Cats.
Fuck, I love Cats.
That is going to be coming out in December. It is a all-star cast of Judi Dench, Ian McKellen.
Put some respect on her name.
Dame Judi Dench, Sir Ian McKellen, Idris Elba, James Corden, Taylor Swift. What was the girl from American Idol and
Jennifer Hudson, right?
Jennifer Hudson,
like one of the best voices ever. She's
yeah,
going to be
got phenomenal. She's got phenomenal.
She's going to do memories. It's going to be great.
I didn't mean it.
There it is again. The funny thing is, it makes you laugh. You know it's coming, and yet you're the one who laughs the most.
Because it's me. I'm accidentally bumping into that button every time.
Stop bumping into the button. I'm trying to do a thing here.
Sorry.
I'm trying to pitch cats, man.
I can't help you. I can't do it. No, so there's
Jesus, man. You're so inconsiderate.
So Nick,
Such an asshole.
Nick is a very big Cats fan. I am a newer.
You don't hear that every day.
I'm a newer Cats convert after watching Cats videos for an entire evening with Nick.
We went down the rabbit hole, down the cat hole.
But so Nick,
what? I used that joke before. I feel like I have. I feel like I have.
All right, so Nick, you have thought a lot about what this live action movie might look like. We have not seen a still. No. Not a photo, not a trailer, and it comes out in half a year.
All we know is, I mean, even if you haven't seen the musical, I've had the privilege of seeing the musical live many times. They are humans in giant, skin tight, literal cat suits, with painted on nose and whiskers and hair pieces and stuff, and it's silly. It's based on a book of poems by T.S. Eliot that don't have any narrative plot. So they threw it together and they said, well, okay, here's the loose plot. There's this old cat called Rumpelteazer, and every year the cats vie for his affection, and he picks one to have everlasting life. And even that is like a really weak. It's not a plot. It's weird and disconnected, and it's carried by the actors prancing around with their packages sticking out, singing their songs. But what if, and I pose to you, what if these, now this is a action, this is a good cast, right, Matt?
Oh, yeah.
Surely these actors are busy, have other offers, right, Matt?
Yes.
Do you think that do you think Idris Elba would say, I'm going to turn down James Bond, I'm going to turn down all these roles, I'm going to be a cat? Do you think he would choose Cats over any other project?
Is he going to be playing McCavity?
I don't know.
He is, so that's important.
Is he McCavity?
He is McCavity.
No, all I'm saying is I think you'd be hard-pressed to find, if I was an A-list celebrity, I'd turn down other stuff to be a cat. But
yes.
no with the right mind would turn down other work, especially big actors like this, to be in Cats.
Yes.
So the solution to that is motion capture. What if you put on a little mocap suit? It's the real actors acting and singing, but you take their movements and you animate them into Pixar like CGI creatures in the world, and they'll dance around. And it'll be like, like a Pixar movie. So they'll be like the size of real house cats. Why you laugh? Why is this so ridiculous to you? I think this is a great idea. So I retooled the plot. It starts off in a kennel with a bunch of eccentric cats, one being like an Elvis impersonator, and the other is Gus the railroad cat. You got Grizzlebella. You got them all in these kennels. And the one cat that's been there, it hasn't been adopted for the longest. He's the biggest, fattest one. He's Deuteronomy.
Well, that's actually Judi Dench is Deuteronomy.
Oh, really?
Ian McKellen plays Gus the theater cat.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's a good
my
casting.
God. So anyway, you have all these cats, and Deuteronomy is the respected one. Maybe she has more sway or whatever. They all want to be adopted, or they're going to be put down.
The respected one.
I don't know. That's what Deuteronomy is.
Continue.
Dame Judi Dench. Dame Judi Dench is certainly respected.
That's her cat name.
Don't put that drop on me again. Let me get through this.
I did.
Stop pressing that button.
I know.
You keep slipping. Stop it, all right? Just mute it.
On mute.
So now it starts off kind of stark and actually kind of dark, right? They're in the kennel. It's implied that if they don't get adopted, bad things will happen to them because we know how the cruel world works.
Sure.
But all of a sudden, every once in a while, this cold, clinical, sad kennel fades away, melts away into each individual cat's world, and it melts away into the Rum Tum Tuggers rock and roll fantasy, Gus the theater cat's theatrical, New York Broadway experience, and they each pitch their pitch to get adopted, and at the end, Grizzabella wins, and it's not immortality. She's not weirdly ushered into the heaven like the play for no reason. She's adopted, and you find out that's what it's about. That's what it's about. Not weird immortality. Because the thing is, where are we on an alternate? Are we on like a Planet of the Apes planet where there's human-sized cats that get chosen and go into space and live eternal lives? It doesn't make any sense.
So I'm gonna. Would you allow me to meet you halfway?
Okay, but the thing is, Matt thinks the idea of CGI cats is ridiculous. To think about if you have a talented team of CGI artists and designers, you can design some cute, cool little Pixar-style characters that have their own look and they act and move like humans, but they're the size of cats and they're real cats. The musical's called Cats, not cat people, not weird cat people with their packages sticking out of spandex unitards and making everyone uncomfortable.
Okay, all right.
I'm just saying. And then okay, one last thing. So, but for promotional material, you get Idris Elba and Taylor Swift and everybody in the room just once in the real classic Broadway cat suits, and they do one music video for promotion. So we all get the satisfaction of seeing Idris Elba in a cat suit, but we don't have to get weirded out after 20 minutes and want to walk out of the theater. Because after a while, that's going to get weird. It's different when you're in the theater. It's fun, but I don't know. I feel like I'd feel very uncomfortable after like 10 minutes in that theater.
I'm gonna meet you 50%.
Okay, let's hear it.
Right. So first of all, I like your Cats of La Mancha pitch. I think the idea of making Man of La Mancha with cats is oddly amazing.
Thank you.
Really works.
I'll take it. God, stop. I'm Matt. At first, it was kind of funny. Now it's getting kind of annoying.
I've been kind of rude about it, but
you've been drinking and you're slipping on the thing, and you're embarrassing me.
There is a movie directed by Barry Sonnenfeld called Nine Lives. 9 Lives was released only a couple years ago with Kevin Spacey voicing a live-action cat, but he does the voice of the cat. Okay? And every time you pitch this musical, all I see is the trailer for 9 Lives, which appeared before many a movie back in the day.
We got to watch that now.
So here's my 50% meeting you. Okay?
Okay.
I like the frame story being actual cats.
Okay.
Right?
Cat-sized cats?
Yes. We're in the kennel. We've got the cats. But when they go into their fantasy mode, they're human. They're anthropomorphic because that's how they see themselves.
Oh, God.
This cat sees herself as Taylor Swift cat. And this cat sees himself as James Corden cat. And this cat thinks I'm Rebel Wilson cat. And that's how we do it. I think we do it.
Is Rebel Wilson in this?
She is. She's playing Jenny Anydots.
No way.
Yep. James Corden's playing
That's a good call, actually.
Booster Jones. Taylor Swift is Bumblearina.
Wait, who?
Bumblearina.
I don't even know who that is.
I think she's one of the ones. There's the two that do the duets.
Oh, the Shake It Off cat.
Yeah,
I know. I know that one.
Ray Winstone's playing Growl Tiger. We should go through the names of these.
Growl Tiger was the dark one. He was like the scary one. He started off right after intermission, I think.
And there's some unknown people in this, like the people playing Mungo Jerry, not known. Rumple Teaser's not a big name.
Says you.
Griddlebone.
Mungo Jerry and Rumple Teaser. I'm most excited to see who plays those guys.
Well, I think they're
Kyle Gass and
no, I think they're Broadway like types. They're actually getting
quick change comedians.
That's also why I think they're going to be dancers and actual dancing, since dancing is a huge part of the musical.
The cats are dancing with the motion capture.
So they can't move in a choreography with a cat body the way you move as a human playing a cat.
I saw a viral video with the cat's front legs had to be amputated and it learned how to walk on its hind legs.
What the fuck does that have to do with any of this conversation?
I'm saying a cat can walk like a person in real life. Why can't it dance?
God damn it.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm not going to entertain that.
It's a Pixar film. They look real, but they can move like a human. It's in the character design. That's the fun, challenging part. You design it.
Nick, do you know who's directing Cats?
Penny Marshall?
Oh, God damn it.
I don't know.
Just killing me right now.
I don't know.
Tom Hooper.
Yeah.
Who directed the King's Speech.
Right?
King's Speech.
God damn it.
The Danish Girl. Les Miserables. This is not a man directing an animated cat movie. He's directing a musical with people that have choreography.
Right. In a set with a green screen and people in motion capture suits. Yes.
It's not happening.
Listen, Hooper's got to shake things up. He's kind of his shtick is getting stale, Matt. He needs some cats.
No.
He needs some cats.
Tom Hooper, if you are still considering doing the animated version of this musical,
Just give me 5 minutes on the phone.
Now. I need to
just give me 5 minutes
now.
on the phone. I'll talk him into
We
it.
gotta get you out of this. Well, that's a great way, I think, to end our organized crime podcast. I hope some of you out there that were really looking forward to some in-depth Godfather trivia enjoyed our 10-minute Cats live-action movie pitch and the sudden disappearance of Ben Wilson. We think he might have been,
We should check on him, actually.
knocked off by a gangster for money that he owed to them. But we thank you for tuning in to this short and sweet episode of the New Wave Podcast. We will be back again next week with a brand new episode with who knows what we'll be doing that time. Maybe a game. Maybe some of us will be here. Maybe some of us won't. But hopefully you're there listening to us like you do always. So thanks for tuning in. Nick, send us out.
And I dreamed a dream of days gone by, and I was beautiful and wicked.
Thanks, guys.
I don't know the words anymore.
We'll talk to you next time. Cheers.